welcome to 2026 Capricorn. Listen, it's going to be a great year, probably one of the greatest ones in a long, long time. And one of the major reasons for this is the three outer planets are changing signs all in this one year. That's a huge bump, guys. And what it's going to do for you, I'm going to get back to them Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. I even made a song about it. You can find that on my channel. But it is big, it is major. But before I start, I just want to say that we got the normal three Mercury retrogrades. We're going to go through that. But I will start with Mars. Why? Well, Mars is our primus motor energy. It is what brings us from day to day to complete our goals and so forth. It's our drive. There's no retrograde on Mars this year, which is really awesome. So we're going to be hammering down. And for you, Capricorn, it starts off 12 degrees in Capricorn, in your sign, in the first house, meaning directly to you. Most of you Capricorns will feel from mid-December, you're really starting to focus on you, yourself, the I am of what is. Then it's going to go over the ascendants and 12 degrees when we hit New Year. It's going to go through 8 houses from the first straight up to the 9th house, 9 degrees in Virgo, where it ends up at the end of the year. So these are the areas of life that you will be experiencing your goals, so to say. And it would be, it would behoove you if you check in every once in a while just to see where Mars is at any given point in time so that you can utilize and use Mars to the max, okay, to fulfill your goals. So starting off with the first house, that's you, your image, how you project yourself out to the world. Moving into the second house, Mars is going to be activating your income sector to see how you can improve it. Third house is communication, how and what you communicate, your presentations and so forth, and short distance travel. Then focusing on your fourth house, that has to do with family, foundation. So there could be repairs or where you want to maybe change your residence, but this is where Mars is going to be working. Then into the fifth house of love relationships, your children, also your creative self-expression. That's a fun time of the year. You want to check that out and be fully conscious of how to use your Mars at that time for it to then move into your sixth house of health, your day-to-day routines, changing that up, focusing then on the seventh house, relationships, your one-on-one relationships, whether that's your significant other, anybody you work with one-on-one. Mars is going to be fiery here to make sure to set things straight and to break through. Coming into the eighth house, now you're going to be working on finances again. Not necessarily your income, more so your savings and royalties, commissions, that kind of thing. Maybe mortgages and investments. So Mars is going to set you up to finally then exit end of the year of 2026 in your ninth house. And that has to do with long distance travel. So maybe some of you might even be planning to go out of country, perhaps for Christmas, New Year vacation, or setting things up for the vacation of the following summer. Some of you might be deciding to go back to school or pick up something because it has to do with study. It's also the higher mind. So yeah, maybe a few of you will choose to go down a couple of rabbit holes when you start off New Year of 2027. Anyway, let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is always so generous. It expands everything it touches. And that goes to both our lives on the mental, spiritual, emotional, but also down to the practical. Jupiter starts off retrograde in your seventh house, so you've had it there for quite a while now. And as it moves in, it will be retrograde until March 11th. So you're still working on the past, okay? It could be relationships, especially because it was in your seventh house. So I can see how you, Capricorn, are looking at what works, what goes, what doesn't go. What am I putting up with, not putting up with anymore, right? So until March 11th, Jupiter is going to give you that on both ends of it, but Jupiter is always good. It's working for us, not against us, but it's bringing clarity And then March 11th, it's going to move direct, picking up speed, still in the seventh house, mind you, until July 1st. Now, that's a big shift. You want to put that down in your notebook. It will enter into your eighth house, and now we're looking at shared resources. The resources that you have together with your partner, or maybe going in on some deals so you can make some commissions, all that kind of thing. It's going to be there for, most of 26. So that gives you good time to kind of uh, straighten out this area because you want to think long term. It's going to be 12 years before Jupiter gets back into that area. And so you're setting yourself up for many, many years. Use it and use it wisely, Capricorn. Now, the retrogrades, we got three phases or three periods, rather. And for that, I would like to say that that first one starts up February 26th to March 21st. So write that down in your notepad. That Mercury retrograde will be in Aquarius. So for you, Capricorn, it's going to be your second house of your income. This is a time to tweak it, to figure out, do I deserve a raise? Do I ask for it or do I patiently wait for it? There could be money coming in from the past, which is a good thing. Money owed to you, maybe, that can come in. But there could also be money going out due to some old situations that hasn't been solved or brought closure upon. So there's that too. 3.5 weeks of it, moving into the second Mercury retrograde period, which is from June 30th through July 24th, in the sign of Cancer. For you, Capricorn, it will be in your seventh house once again, having to do with your relationships, your marriage, or whoever it is you're long term dating, or people you work with one on one. Here we want to make sure that our communication is clear. There can always be mishaps and misunderstandings and so forth. So make sure that you're hearing what the other person is saying, but equally make sure that they're hearing you when you bring up matters of the heart that's important to you. Maybe you've been harboring it for quite a while because since it's in this sign of Cancer, think about that hard shell and that soft innard. So you might have been holding quite a few emotions close to heart, but now it's important that it comes out. So you'll have 3.5 weeks, June 30th, July 24th. The third and the last retrograde of the year, will be in the sign of Scorpio. And this is taking place October 24th to November 14th in the 11th house. Now, it's a better placement, actually. It's in the area of hopes and dreams, so that's always a good thing. But it's intense. It's in the sign of Scorpio. You're going to be feeling this one, Capricorn. Make sure, though, that you're very clear on your intentions of what your hopes and your wishes are when you express it. Just so you're making sure that whatever didn't go down earlier, remember this is in retrograde, maybe you had some wishes earlier in the year and it didn't come through for you. Well, now might be the time to bring it back up and around and fulfill these hopes and dreams. That's the upside of it. The downside of it is don't repress your emotions. Scorpio won't like it. It does do it automatically because all Scorpions are so strong on the inside, it takes a lot for it to come out. This could be one of those phases where Scorpio will just release it, that Scorpion energy, even though you are Capricorn. Now, let's get to the fun part of the reading, which I am really super excited to talk about. These three outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, well, if we think our 3D reality in our physical body, right? That only rules from the sun out to Saturn. Saturn is restrictions and so forth. Uranus comes around and goes outside of the box. It releases whatever restrictions. It's so freeing and so liberating, even to the point where it can even be somewhat shocking. But yeah, this is really wonderful. Now, it's been traveling in the sign of Taurus for quite a few years right now in your fifth house. So you have really been liberating, haven't you, when it comes to how you feel about love and romance, um, wanting to try new territories, new shores, and express yourself maybe in ways that you haven't in the past, right? So this has been liberating for many of you Capricorns. Um, it's going to stay here for a little bit. It is retrograde until February 4th. Then it's going to move direct, and then out of your sign. Um, Let me see, when was that? April 28th, okay? So you have until April 28th to do all these shocking, exciting new adventures within love where you're really exploring this realm. So fun. And once you get that down, you're pretty much settled on that new level that Uranus brought to your life, um, coming out of whatever was very restricted, sometimes cold. Saturn was there before you. So this is wonderful. And then from April 28th onwards, for many years yet to come, it's going to move into your sixth house. Your sixth house is about your day to day routine. So a lot of Capricorns might start working differently, that they don't want to do the 9 to 4. Some of you might just want to work remotely. Why is that? Well, Uranus rules IT, the internet, everything technical. So some of you might just say, well, I'm going to work from home, or I'm going to take up a second job where I can work through the internet. Um, so you will find your way, but it's also ruling communication in these next few years. We're talking to 2033. Uranus is going to stay in that sign, between 26 to 33. So you have years to kind of transform this area, and you will find out that you're going to start communicating in a totally different way than before. Um, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is linear. When we speak, you got to hear me out to the end of the sentence to get what I'm saying. Uranus is very intuitive, and clairvoyant. It will look at a picture, where it takes 1,000 words to explain what the picture is about. You'll see it in a blink of an eye, in a snapshot, full downloads. What does that mean for you? You might just find yourself coming to solutions with a blink of an eye, with that electrical shock coming in, meaning you might just find yourself opening up more and more, Capricorn, to your higher psychic self. Uranus is psychic, it's clairvoyant, just like Neptune. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. But it comes through thoughts and words. Um, Whereas Neptune, and we're moving into that now, Neptune's about vision. It will see not through the physical eyes, but through your spiritual eyes. So we are spiritualizing, all of us, as it's moving into these new signs. They've always been spiritual. We can go way back into religious history. We'll see that they have halos around their head. What did that mean? That the saints, it was to tell us they were spiritual, that they had higher knowledge through communication, which is channeling, by the way. So some of you are going to start channeling. And you have to trust that instinct, that intuition. And they were visionaries, these saints, right? Your visionary energy is going to start blossoming as well. And that's the higher octave of Venus. Neptune is higher Venus, right? So it has to do not just with love and resources, like in the 3D world. It's more the spiritual resources that we hold, where we know who we are, that we're so much more than what meets the eye. And in this vision, that intuition with Uranus, and Neptune is very intuitive as well, that you can start seeing through the veil. Somebody can lie to you and you look straight through it, straight through. It's very uncomfortable when people tries to lie to your face and you're very open, you will see it, right? Um, Neptune also rules arts and music and so forth. So, for that reason, these things are going to be important to you. And which area in your solar chart will this show up? Well, it has been in your third house for siblings. You might have had a little bit of wishy washy interaction with your siblings with very unclear boundaries, maybe. Neptune rules the ocean, so it's hard to put boundaries. But you're pretty much done when you get um, into 2026. It's going to be now moving into your home area, home foundation, your parents. Um, yeah. So having Neptune here, what does that mean? Neptune is also what rules compassion. Compassion, your heart is going to grow and overflow because you're going to see through whatever dramas are around. You won't be able to judge them like in the past, which Saturn does. Neptune will see it because you're open now and you're seeing where that drama comes. So it kind of turns to compassion instead. And when we understand where somebody's coming from, how can we judge? We feel for them and then we take them by the hand. We try to guide them through whatever that drama might be. This one will retrograde from July 7th to December 13th. That will give you a little respite from it all, where you can look back from top of the year until then and see what you've done with it. How did you use that energy? Um, but like arts and music, you might start filling your home with more music just to feel the balance. Remember, these are the upper chakras in our higher consciousness, so you're going to need that kind of stimuli that puts you at equilibrium and balance in your heart. The last one is, of course, Pluto, and you might have been hearing about Pluto moving into Aquarius, and yeah, that is a huge shift because it moves so slowly, and it has been in Capricorn for at least last 15, 18 years, and it also rules the powers to be, let's say, politically too. The big wigs up there, power and control. However, though, now that Pluto's moving into Aquarius, it's shifting the powers from those bigwigs down to the grassroots people. It's all about the people. So we're going to see this collectively, globally, how we're going to change and create a better, more harmonious shift. But it's going to be here for so many years. Nothing's happening overnight. But where is it taking place for you, Capricorn, on a personal level? For you, it will be moving into your second house, money and income. What else does Pluto do? Well, when it comes into a new area, what it wants to do is demolish the old. That can be a little scary. Right? The good news is it's going to rebuild, restructure, and bring you more than you could ever dream of. Okay? Pluto, we want to work with Pluto. Allow us to see it as our best friend. There's no other planet in our solar system that is a greater healer than Pluto is. It's like magic, a magic wand. So if you can assess the energy of Pluto, you become a healer, you become a magician. So the only thing that Pluto doesn't want, because it amplifies, you don't want to hold fear. Now, since it's the second house, you definitely don't want to have fearful minds attached to your finances because that's where it's going to amplify it. You really want to take the magic of Pluto and say, now is my time to really build a fantastic structure financially and watch what Pluto will do for you. Now, it is going to be direct until May 7th, so you'll have the first 4 months at least um, to feel this energy here now. You've already been able to feel it a little bit there towards the end of 2025, so you've already dipped your toes in a little bit. And then it's going to retrograde between May 7th until October 16th. It'll give you a little respite so you can kind of think, feel, reflect, go back over what changes did you do, if any, and was it good? Can I tweak it some more? We have to love retrogrades. They give us that extra opportunity to do and perfect more that we didn't have time to do when the planets were direct. They were hammering out, doing their own thing. We were busy doing something over here, so we didn't always pay attention. But this is why retrograde gives you that second chance to really go in and refine. So I am super excited for 2026 for you. And I would say, for me to get back on the algorithm so you can find my post, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up so there is a connection between you and I, even though we've had good connection in the far past, right? But I've been away for a few years. It just helps getting back on the algorithm. So if you enjoy give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again soon, Capricorn. Have a good one now.